We test all kinds of cycling tech here at road.cc, and the latest accessories to come across our desk are these Cycliq bike cameras. So, are they any good? Can they be relied upon to hold shoddy drivers accountable? And how have they fared in the recent, rather miserable conditions? Let's find out. A cycling camera kind of does what it says on the tin. It allows you to capture the goings on around you, and in the event of something untoward happening, you can then pass the footage on to the police. Very often, they also integrate lights into the unit, and that's exactly what we've got here with these units. So, which ones have we got our hands on? Well, this one is the Fly12 Sport. This one is quite clearly a front-facing camera, 12 o'clock, hence the name, and therefore has a white light. Get ready. Get ready. Hey, a white light. I've just blinded the videographer. That's got 400 lumens of oomph. And then at the back, we've got the Fly6 Pro, the latest and greatest cycling camera for the rear of your bike. And that one boasts 100 lumens of output. So first of all, let's get them both unboxed, fitted to the bike, and then we'll see how they perform. Before we do though, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for all the latest reviews and releases in the cycling world. Believe it or not, this is not actually our first rodeo with Cycliq bike cams. In fact, we reviewed the original cameras about a decade ago. Like most things tech related, things have moved on quite a long way. These don't use floppy disks. And I have to say, this front one in particular is a lot less cumbersome than the ones of old. In fact, the Fly12 Sport model is 40% lighter than the 2016 model that we reviewed. And as a result, this weighs just 150 grams. Now, I'm not telling you this just because I'm some weight weenie. I just think that this is something that I don't mind having attached to my bars. It's not much bigger than my ordinary light. And, well, the previous ones, let's just say, I don't want to carry a brick around for fun. Despite getting smaller, the Fly12 Sport now records in up to 2560 by 1440p. So that's quad HD resolution and can automatically detect incidents and supports up to 7 hours of continuous recording. We'll see how it gets on in just a minute. To attach it, well, you've got a few options, but I personally like to have it under my bars on this out in front mount. It comes with a tether, but really it's just as easy as putting on a bike computer with this 1/8 turn mount. At the back, we've got that same 1/8 of a turn mount system. This Fly6 Pro has various mounts that come in the box, so you can fit it to an aero profile seat post like this one or a normal round seat post. And then on the device itself, we've got 2 LEDs, and then this bit is the camera. This Pro model can record in 4K and also up to 7 hours of continuous recording, and once again has this little OLED display which helps you select which mode you want. You might be wondering how these cameras differ from an action camera, which can of course also record in 4K. Well, there's a few differences. A, they've got lights. B, the run times are quite a bit longer, and C, these can automatically overwrite footage, so you don't have to review all the footage yourself. What I mean by that is, unless you choose to save something, you just leave it to its own devices, and then if you get back from a ride and there was an incident, then you can save that bit for later and come back to it. Both cameras also have an instant detection mode, so if the worst does come to the worst and you can't click save, then don't fear, the Cycliq cameras will automatically save footage if they're tilted more than 60 degrees for 5 seconds. Now, you don't get that on an action camera. As we mentioned before, this camera can record in quad HD, but actually I've been using it on the lower HD setting because really I think that I can see all the number plates and everything going on around me. So don't need the higher resolution. One thing that I think the Cycliqs do really well is their field of view, and you can see just how wide it is from these bits of footage here. If you do have both a front and a rear camera fitted to your bike, then, well, you're not going to miss anything. One of the things that Cycliq says that they've worked particularly hard on this latest generation of cameras is the stabilization. Now, being mounted to your bike, they're going to be taking the brunt of our less than perfect road conditions. And so if you want to be able to read number plates, then this 6-axis electronic image stabilization, EIS, is going to come in rather handy. I mean, that is less good if you're trying to show your mates how bumpy Paris-Roubaix is, but it's very useful everywhere else. Well, here's some footage that we've captured over the last few weeks and months. so you can judge it for yourself. Once you get back from your ride, say something happens or you just want to stick something on your socials, well, the easiest way is going to be to pair them to the Cycliq phone app. So if I do that now, there we go. There's all my recent footage, and then, well, I can do all sorts with it. I can add Strava overlays to show my speed. I can add these tram lines, which show how far away or how close cars got to me. And I just think that's a really cool feature. As we discussed earlier, these are not just cameras, so how do the lights fare in the real world? Well, the road.cc team have been using these cameras in all conditions, and I mean all conditions, and I reckon they're more than bright enough to make excellent be seen lights. What I mean by that is that there's two types of lights on the market. Ones that you can see with, and ones whose primary aim is to get you seen. Now, with 100 lumens at the back and 400 lumens at the front, these are towards the upper end of that latter category. As you can see, the choice of modes really help you stand out in busy traffic, but if you want to sacrifice some lighting power, then Cycliq do make a smaller rear camera that offers 50 lumens of output. Where I think this 100 lumen rear light comes in really handy though is during daylight and winter months. Now, that might sound like an odd time to need a really bright light, but I always find that on a crisp winter evening, you get this low sun, which is probably the hardest time to get spotted as a cyclist. Okay, so the lights are good, the cameras are good. How about the battery life? Well, that's pretty good too, as long as you're not into super endurance rides. As we mentioned earlier, the maximum runtime of both units is 7 hours, but that is with the lights off. As you can see from this table, with the lights on and in a useful flashing mode, you're looking at about 5 hours runtime, which in my mind is enough for some pretty long rides, and more than enough for a few commutes a week. Now, I do think that this is an area that I'd love to see improve over time as battery tech continues to evolve, but yeah, we found the run times to be pretty accurate, and this winter I've done several metric centuries with the lights, with plenty of juice to spare. Okay, so decision time. This front camera has an RRP of 299 and the rear one an RRP of 319. Now, they are undeniably a sizable investment then, but I really do think that if you can afford it, then it will give you a lot more peace of mind than that group set upgrade or getting that frame which is a few grams lighter. It's not very often we say this, but this genuinely is tech that could change your life. I mean, hopefully it doesn't need to, but it could. Obviously, I'm still just a newbie in the world of Cycliq cameras, but we've had reviewers using these out in the wild for nearly a year now, and they've proven to be very robust and more than capable of fending off the UK weather, which, if it can fend off the UK weather, then there's not many other worse weathers. On the whole then, Cycliq has come out with a really well polished product. The app works well, the footage is clear and reliable, and all those niggles that the first generation of cycling cameras caused are now gone. They're easy to use, easy to fit, and well, just do what they say on the tin. You can find our full reviews of both the rear and the front camera over on the road.cc website. I think we gave this one an 8 out of 10 and this one a 7 out of 10. Let us know what you think of the Cycliq cameras in the comments section below, as well as whether you're tempted to start using cameras on your rides. As always, if you enjoyed this content, then please give it a like, subscribe to the channel for lots more bike tech, and we'll see you next time.